Yeah, so ground safety officer at the stadium in Widnes, and it's my role there really, as well as the event hopefully being enjoyable, is trying to keep that event safe. So thinking about crowd management, having emergency plans in place, contingency plans in place for a variety of different things. Increasingly at the minute, that includes things like hostile vehicle mitigation. Um, Part of the Rugby League Ground Safety Officers Association, I've been involved for about 16 years now with the association, and as recently as last February, I was elected as chair of the association. That gives me the opportunity to go and visit all the other grounds, liaise with my colleagues, and also liaise with partners, people that have got products and services that will be of use to the association, which is where we met Ian last year. It's been a really positive and collaborative association. We first met at actually a Football Safety Officers Association meeting. And what I've been very impressed with is the way that the company engages with the safety officers. It's not about sell. It's about what are your problems? How do we come up with some workable solutions to those problems that help you run a safe event, help all the spectators enjoy the event, and actually, in some ways, don't even think about crowd safety or anything like that, and just enjoy the event, whether it's football, rugby, or any other event. And that's important because it means that the event is shaped by the people that actually manage them day in, day out. We know what the risks are. Where we sometimes need a little bit of help is with the expertise which Ian provides on hostile vehicle mitigation.
Yeah, I think that's where it works really well, both for the RLGSOA and for CrowdGuard ourselves, because you're the people that are on the ground. It's the safety officers that actually deal with the crowds, they deal with the road closures, they deal with that whole Zone X environment. It's really, really important for CrowdGuard to understand what that looks like from the ground up, because it's no good as an entity speaking to these different stadiums and different clubs without the buy-in of the safety officers. So the way we like to work with the safety officers, work closely together and build a solution that's viable before them conversations go to any form of commerciality within the club or within the industry. Because unless it's a workable solution, it's not a solution. And that's where the partnership works really, really well, I feel.
So I suppose one of the biggest challenges is there's a very real and serious risk out there with any live event of people using a vehicle as a weapon. And stadiums in themselves are very complex environments. Some of them sit on their own site with space outside in the Zone X, which can be very easily managed. Others, like my stadium, the DCBL Stadium, in the middle of a housing estate, which gives added complexity to how you can control what's coming in and going out. So that's where the difficulty comes in. How do you mitigate those things, but still keep it viable, actually, not just for the stadium, but the community as well? How do people still need to get home from work whilst there's a match event going on and things like that? So it's the thing to do is to gather the expertise and the people to come in and to understand those different threats and try and come up with a workable, viable solution so that people are protected. And the most important way to do that is in a way that they don't even notice that they're being protected. So for us, the CrowdGuard bring the expertise, the practical knowledge of what will work on the ground, and that's important for us. So what we're hoping for is that through the Rugby League Ground Safety Officers, all our members can gain access to systems that are specifically designed for their grounds and their operational plans, with the right knowledge behind them, so that those risk assessments that are done are top notch and meet the requirements that are out there. So we know what works, but also importantly why it works, and we also know what maybe doesn't work as well. We make those decisions. We need to, from an audience perspective, what we're looking for is for our spectators to come in and really not be affected by any of this and just enjoy watching an event and wanting to come back to the next event, which is what will help generate future crowds.
I think that what that partnership brings then from CrowdGuard's side of it is that early engagement with the safety officers who understand the crowd dynamics, understand what's happening around the stadiums and what the requirements are beyond just keeping people safe. But the operational function is really, really important. So by being in partnership together, it allows us access to the safety officers to hear their concerns and not relay their fears, but help them plan and progress a HVM scheme that doesn't just take into account a barrier that will stop a certain vehicle, but takes into account the operational requirements of the uniqueness of their events that are held there in reality. And being in partnership allows us to do that in a really open forum where everybody can learn that from each other.
I think the key message for me is safety is not something that's ever a bolt on. This is something we design in to make sure that people that are attending the ground are safe. We've got a trusted partner, a platinum partner in CrowdGuard, who have offered us free hostile vehicle mitigation risk assessment, where they're going want to come to our grounds, they want to see our operation, figure out the problems of those operations and potential solutions, and put that together in a program for you. So I would only encourage all of my colleagues to make contact with CrowdGuard. Well, let's get them to a match. Let's start that process rolling and get that expertise on board. And then let's look at what solutions we need to put in at each venue. Ultimately, then at the end of the day, we're all going to be that little bit safer when we're running match events. So it's the only encouragement I could do is say to the association members, jump on board. We've got somebody that wants to help you. Get in touch with Ian and his team. I'm sure they'd love to come down to your stadium and see the match day operations in full flow.
Yeah, absolutely, Phil. I can only really echo that. You know, we're part of the RLGSOA because we want to engage with the safety officers at an early point, you know, because when we're engaged early, we can see it from the ground up, from the perspective of how these operations run. And that allows us, like you say, to assess them sites, assess them venues, to look what the makeup's like, first and foremost from the operational requirements. And that's the takeaway for them for me is come and speak to us, you know, we come to the forums, we come to the meetings, but engage with us. I'm more than happy to come to the site and have a look at it and see how you operate on an event day. And that's really important to get that view and then have that initial overview, start your discussion point going forward then.